We might as well get everything started out here. And my camera's dead. Again. Another day, another problem with the camera. Let's see if we can't fix that guy. Wait, no. OJ knows. There's always a huge problem with the camera. Also checking other things, like if... Oh, wait. We can't have no bug cameras. Well, apparently we do. This is kind of weird that it's not working. Is the camera in use by something else? No. Okay. It was working literally a second ago. It's another Saturday. My stream has decided, no, the camera doesn't want to work. I know that it's just problems that we're having with a new camera. There we go. Maybe... Sorry, I'm just going through figuring out which cord this is. Or do I gotta pull up? It's being used by another program? Thanks for explaining the word many times. No problem. Let's see. Where is my issue with my camera? Okay, where's camera controls? It's a dead joke. You know, it's kind of hard, but I am smiling behind this. Ah, there. Hey! Okay, now for the backlight, because my lighting is off. I ramble when I get nervous, like when stuff stops working. So I'm like, oh no, something's definitely... Oh, God! The backlight decided to flashbang me. Ah! Okay. Everything's working. For now. For now. We'll see if that changes in about like, I don't know, 15 minutes or so. Once it stops, once everything finally stops working again. I hope everything's good on your end, but yeah, we're just getting started here. Okay. We're through the classes. We're on the fun stuff. We just got to go through the spells and the races, and we're almost done here. Let me make sure that my quality is to audio on my other thing so that it shows off. I can see what you guys are seeing. Did you know the French fries weren't actually fried in France? They were fried in Greece. How did I fall for that? I'm like, I've heard that joke a billion times. How did I fall for that? Guys, it's definitely Saturday. I swear I wasn't up until like 2 a.m. last night playing Stronghold, a castle sim if you don't know it. I swear I wasn't up that late. Things are going to slip by me. Okay, where are we at? When was assaulted? Oh, there's one thing that I'm having issues with. Default. Let me know if the music's too loud. I can turn it down. I'm trying to avoid it, like, overtaking me. Third one, ducks. Are all the dad jokes just coming out now? I felt for one, so now all the dad jokes have to come out. I just know it. I guess give me your best shot with those dad jokes, because this is going to be a long read, and I don't have any coffee. I'm flying. God, I'm flying by, like, the most most aggressive version. I'm going to get angry today. I just know. Okay, I guess I should do a quick introduction. We're 7 minutes in. I guess if people pop in and survive the nonsense that happened before with me as I was just getting everything fixed, we're finishing our 2024 handbook, as it says in the title. Let's get into it. We're on chapter 4. Okay, character origins. Let's see, 2 components of adventures, backgrounds, and why species? Why species? Sorry, I'm going to get on that. It's such a dumb change. Like, I get it. They're not technically races, but they're all humanoid. They'd all classify under the humanoid race. So why species? that makes it sound very creepy and like they're meant to be separated. You know, your inclusion is actually accidentally created exclusion. I'm going to not step onto my soapbox because I got a lot of ground to cover today. I got a lot. Why do chicken coops only have 2 doors? Because if they had 4, they'd be called chicken sedan. That one's good. That one's good. Okay, yeah. Backgrounds, collection of characters that represent the place and occupation that were formative before your character embarked on a life of adventure. Each background narrative of what your character's past might have been like. I have some problems with these because I feel like some backgrounds don't fit that thing, because a lot of adventures start very young. Most players start their adventures around the age of 20. Try to stick it around their age. I will find you. You have my word. Creature type. Species determines their creature type. Okay. I guess I understand if they're changing creature types, and that's the reason they switched to species. But then you've got some other issues where you've completely eliminate half races. Again, you've accidentally created way more problems with your inclusion than you needed to. You could have fixed so many things just by using like humanoid race, and then it's like, okay, yeah, if you're not humanoid, you're not humanoid. I'll find you. I have. They're good. I'm gonna have to file these away. Take a quick screenshot of chat and file these away so that I can use them against future generations. I'm going to have to use them against the future generations. They'll hate it. It'll be great. Okay. Ability scores, feat. Right. They give everybody feats. Why do they give everybody feats? Why would they give everybody feats? Like, here's the thing. Feats are strong. Truck. Why would they give everybody feats? They're encouraging power builds. It makes it harder for DMs because everybody's significantly more powerful now because everybody has a feat. The benefit of the human as a race was that you got a feat instead of the other benefits of the other species race. Why am I confusing them? I refuse to call them species. They're races. They're the humanoid races. If they want to change, like, what's the point of that change? Okay, the backgrounds. Acolyte, artisan, charlatan, criminal, entertainer, farmer, guard, guide, hermit, merchant, noble, sage, sailor, scribe, soldier. What are these backgrounds? Okay, acolyte's pretty standard. Yeah, calligrapher's supplies, interesting. Yeah, kind of your standard stuff. You get you get specific feats? What the heck? Magic Initiate Cleric for the Acolyte. Like, I know they're trying to make backgrounds, like, matter more, but are you kidding me? You're tying your stats to your background. Again, I would say, I've said it before, the smart thing to do in this situation was to tie the +1 to the race and +2 to the background. That way, the nature versus nurture argument is still in there. You still get some versatility, but your background still matters. Your race and background still matters. This change doesn't help anybody. Artisan tools, yep. Plus, the fact that these have individual feats to them means that they're not only are people significantly more powerful, but they're locked with this feat. What if you wanted to play a fighter acolyte and didn't want Magic Initiate? What if you didn't want to play Spellcaster? Now you're kind of forced to get a spell. Feat skilled. I stayed up all night wondering where the sun went, and then it dawned on me. Again, I need to not fall for these. I need to not fall for these. Why am I falling for these? Exception. I'm not seeing anything that would be out of place in the backgrounds. Backgrounds are just the backgrounds. My issue with the backgrounds is, how old are they assuming adventures are going to be? Because if adventures are supposed to be around, say, 30, it would make sense that, like, guard, sailor, soldier. I know those were from 5e. I had the same problem in normal 5e. But if they were expecting them to be about 30, these are jobs that they would have for times. How do you make holy water? You boil the heck out of it. It's hard for me to sit here and be super negative about this when the dad jokes are going, because I'm just looking at the dad jokes and I'm like, that cheers me up. That cheers me up while I'm like starting to feel my blood pressure rise. It's like, okay, some of these backgrounds, like, I know your entire background from childhood growing up could be a criminal or an entertainer having joined the circus, a charlatan, a farmer, grew up on a farm, but guard. I appreciate it, man. I really do appreciate it, because this is gonna be a rough read. As you can tell, I'm already getting a little fired up, and I'm not even to the part that's gonna tick me off the most. I'm like, these are just backgrounds. I've had the same problem with backgrounds that I had in 5e. Some of these backgrounds are just jobs. Guard, soldier. It's like, okay, yeah, no, that's not your background. Like, depending on how old your character is supposed to be, wouldn't it be more logic? Like, they would have to pick one of the backgrounds where they could be there for a long time. Noble, for instance. How is the noble background supposed to coincide with the soldier background? You've been a noble since you were born, but you couldn't have been a soldier since you were born. If you were, we have some serious conversations to talk about. I understand, like, acolyte, sage, scribe. That's like, okay. Sorry, not acolyte, sage, scribe. Acolyte, sage, charlatan, farmer. Those are like, yeah, no, those are things, technically jobs, but those are things you could be born into. And it's like, okay, I guess this allows for different ways. If you wanted an older kind of adventure, you'd take the sailor or the soldier or the guard. But it's like, Captain Kirk 3, the left ear, the right ear, and the final frontier. I really need to focus. I'm losing my train of thought over here. Yeah, so I'm like, some of these don't line up, and I had the same problem with 5e backgrounds. I had the same problem with those because my problem was the same thing. Some of them are just jobs, others are backgrounds you were born into. And so I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Hermit, it's like, yeah, you can be a hermit. Your family could have. Also, have you noticed Outlander's missing? Outlander's missing, guys. Did they roll it into Hermit? I don't understand. Like, there's backgrounds missing. I think the Outlander, they're just not on the PHB. Why are... The PHB should be a replacement for the SRT. Not a amendment to it. All the information in the SRT should be a stripped down PHB. I'm gonna look it up. Is it a feat? It's an origin feat? Is it an origin feat? No, it's not an origin feat. What does any of this have to do with Outlander? They removed it. Holy crap, they completely removed Outlander. Why would you remove Outlander? Because Outlander was something that actually mattered. You were a... Well, why am I pulling up some random site here? Of course the cars come up. Behold the Outlander background, everybody. Yeah, they removed Outlander. Outlander was like perfect for Rangers. Why would you take this out? It's your kind of traveler. That is insane. And it's not even like a big change. It's just, why? Did they run out of pages? No, because they already 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They didn't want to put an extra page, maybe? Yeah, Outlander does not exist anymore. You Rangers, I'm sorry. You either have to be a wayfarer, a soldier, a sailor, noble, scribe, sage, hermit, merchant, guide, guard, charlatan, criminal, entertainer, and farmer. You got to be locked in one place unless you were a traveling merchant or traveling soldier. You're locked in one place. I'm sorry, guys. You can't be an Outlander. You can't be a nomad based on the rules in here. I'm sorry. I don't make the rules here. Of course, they just... It doesn't make sense why they would take it out. It's like, wait, what other backgrounds did they take out? What other backgrounds did they take out? What backgrounds were removed? They don't have just a list. It brings out the worst in people. Thank you for not letting me delve too deep into the cynicism. Oh, okay. Let's move on to something that'll get me really, really mad because I knew this was coming. I absolutely Knew this was coming. And hey, Jake, welcome to chat. Welcome to chat. Our mod has arrived. He's at work right now, so he's hanging about. The dogs are good. Simba didn't want to go outside. Precious decided she wanted to stay out in the snow, so I forced her in before I started recording. They're currently sleeping on your bed. Sorry, he's at work and no one's at home, so I'm at home with the dogs. Okay, let's get into something that ticks me off. Specieses. 10 species are presented in this section in alphabetical: Aasimar, Dragonborn, Dwarf, Elf, Gnome, Goliath, Halfling, Human, Orc, and Tiefling. Aasimar. At least I have a pronunciation for Aasimar now. Aasimar. Sorry, not Aasimar. Aasimar. They have a pronunciation in there, which is nice. Are mortals who carry spark of upper planes. You think it's been replaced by the guide? It might have been. I might have been on nothing, but why rename it? What's the difference? Let me read guide, and then I'll read Outlander. You came of age outdoors, far from settled lands. Your home, it was anywhere you chose to spread your bedroll. There are wonders in the wilderness, strange monsters, pristine forests and streams, overgrown ruins, trod by giants, and you learned to fend for yourself as you explored them. From time to time, you guided friendly nature priests who instructed you in the fundamentals of channeling the magic of the wild. Now let's read Outlander. Let's read Outlander. You grew up in the wilds, far from comforts of town and technology. You witnessed the migration of herds larger than forests, survived weathers more extreme than any city dweller could comprehend, and enjoyed the solitude of being the only thinking creature for miles in any direction. The wilds are your blood. Whether you were a nomad, an explorer, a recluse, a hunter-gatherer, or even a marauder, even places where you don't know the specific features of the terrain, you know the ways of the wild. They're completely different. Like, here's the thing. They sound very similar. You grew up in the wilds. No. Here's the difference between the guide and the Outlander. The Outlander didn't just grow up in the wilds. It's his home now. It's the same for the guide, but the guide is... You guided friendly nature priests. Why? Just call them druids. Just call them druids. You're already getting the magic initiate druid feat. Just call them druids. I would argue that the Outlander and the guide are different. Because, again, this forces you into the magic initiate feat. Background feats just annoy me. Okay. Let's move on. Let's go back to the species is where I can get angry. Who carries spark of upper... Just say a celestial spark. Your worlds are ones with gods. I get it. From the upper planes. Just say a celestial spark. Yeah, everyone gets feats now. It's ridiculous. Everyone gets feats. Like, I understand, like, feats are very powerful. And it's like, okay, you wanted to customize it, but you removed anything that makes each group special. Okay. Yeah, so Aasimar, whether descended from an angelic being or infused with their celestial power, they can fan that spark to bright light, healing, and heavenly fury. Aasimar can arise among any population of mortals. They resemble their parents, but they live for up to 160 years. Oh, wow. They actually put a lifespan on the Aasimar, which means this creates an... FBI, open up! My heart sank. I don't know why that terrified me so much. Like, you saw my face go, oh, God. Because I'm not wearing headphones today, which means there's not a delay. It's just coming out of the speaker behind the computer. Oh. Okay, so they can live up to 160 years. Does this mean that an elf Aasimar will live significantly, their lifespan is significantly shorter than their parents? That's disturbing. Because Aasimar can arrive in any number of populations. That is like... Are you serious? So now for some reason, just because there's a little bit of celestial blood in a high elf, they're no longer going to live for 700 years. And if you build the societies around... Are you... You must be shooting the... Yeah, you must be finishing off the 2024 handbook. I haven't heard of people playing 2024. Everyone's just playing 5e. I don't know. I haven't heard about like people picking up this. I'm gonna look into its sales number when we're done. I'm just gonna start Googling. Yeah. So Aasimar live significantly less time than elves, which means an elven Aasimar.
Mission failed. We'll get them next time.
Playing with the blurp, huh? The light cantrip. Yeah, same things. You're humanoid. Aasimar special traits: celestial resistance, necrotic, and radiant. Interesting. That's a lot of resistances out of level 1. I think it should have been necrotic or radiant. Kind of how they did with the Aasimar, where you had the fallen Aasimar, and like the different kinds of Aasimar. They should have kept that. This is just needlessly powerful for no reason. Why do you suddenly have resistance to necrotic and radiant? I feel like it should be either or. And then you gain all the abilities: necrotic shroud, heavenly wings. That's normal. I don't hate this Aasimar. It's not a lot different than the 5e Aasimar. It just combines them. I think they had some issues where they seem to be removing sub races. Oh, yeah, they're definitely removing sub-races. Which creates some serious problems with, D&D lore, doesn't it? I see these. They're just typically, but they're not very different. Okay, Dragonborn. Ancestors of Dragonborn hatched from the eggs of chromatic metallic dragons. When Storyholds, the eggs were blessed by the dragons, gods Bahamut and Tiamat, who wanted to populate with people created in their image. I don't know if that tracks with Dragonborn, considering, they just made dragons. Why would they not make anything other than dragons? Why would they want to populate with the people? You don't think they care about the lore? I don't think they do either. Which is funny because it's supposed to be the storyteller. Like this isn't balanced by game designers. This is balanced by storytellers, which means why is the lore not first and foremost? And I get it. What are they trying to change? What are they trying to change? It doesn't make much sense. And on top of that, they claim it's supposed to be reverse compatible, but these races are not reverse compatible. Okay, so why would the eggs be blessed by Bahamut and Tiamat? They hate each other. And this doesn't even mention the crystal dragons, which are lore accurate now. We have it from Fizban's. They completely negate the crystal dragons. What about their Dragonborn? Bipedal dragons, scaly, bright-eyed, thick-boned, with horns on their heads. Their coloration, other features reminiscent of their draconic ancestors. Dragonborns have these special traits: draconic ancestry. Yep, and you pick your ancestor. Again, they left out the The other ones, which I'm not completely opposed to. Also, I feel like again there's some dragons missing there. Breath weapon. Let's see, plus Constitution and proficiency, so maximum 8 plus 5, so 13. Say level 11, 14, 15, 6. Wow, that's actually a pretty strong breath attack. And then it gets more powerful, so it's 3d10 at level 11. Oh, I like that scaling a little bit. That scaling's pretty nice. That scaling's not bad. Flight, when you reach level 5. Okay, yeah, nothing's really changed from the 5th edition other than the backstory for this race. Like, Descendants of Dragons. I get that. Descendants of Dragons. But are you kidding me? You didn't have to bring in this, oh, they were blessed by Tiamat and Bahamut. Why not or even, like, again, Dragonborn, we just kind of assumed. Yeah, screw it. Where's the 20? Where's the handbook? We have the technology to pull them up side by side. How did they change the lore between the two? Dragonborn. Here we are. Okay. Dragonborn from 5e. And if I'm getting frustrated over nothing, I'm fine with that. Let's see. Born of Dragons. Their name, Dragon walk proudly through a world that greets them with fearful incomprehension. Shaped by draconic gods or the dragons themselves, Dragonborn were originally hatched from dragon eggs as a unique race combining the best attributes of dragons and humanoids. Some dragon are faithful servants to true dragons, other than the ranks of soldiers in great wars. Dragon look totally much like dragons, sending yep. With, although they lack a tail, they definitely that gets ignored a lot. That Dragonborn lack wings and a tail. Generation created a more uniform appearance. Their fall. Yeah. Okay. So here's the thing. You've removed anything that makes Dragonborn special. You don't talk about their clans. You don't talk about their behaviors. You don't talk about, like, again, so to Dragonborn, the clan is more important than life itself. Okay. Where is the structure of their society? That was interesting, is that each race had a culture. This is they're just eliminating the culture from the D&D races. They're just like, yeah, no, pick your race. It doesn't matter. You get some stats. Oh, no, there's no culture to them. Don't worry, there's no culture to them. Okay, enough about Dragonborns. Dwarves. Dwarves are up next. Again, I'm going to go between the two because this matters. Okay, they've completely eliminated hill versus stone. Dwarves were raised from the earth in the elder days by the deity of the forge, called by various names on different worlds. Moradin, Reorix, others. The god gave dwarves an affinity for stone, metal, living underground. The god also made them resilient like the mountains, with a lifespan of 350. Squat and often bearded. The original dwarves carved cities into mountainsides, under the earth. Most conflicts with the monsters of mountaintops and the Underdark. Whether those monsters were towering giants or subterranean horrors, inspired those tales, dwarves of any culture often sing of valorous deeds, especially little overcoming on some worlds of the multiverse. The first settlements of the dwarves were built in hills or mountains. The families who trace their ancestry to those settlements call themselves hill. Okay, again, you're not talking anything about their culture. Look, here. Let's see. And how does 5e? Bold and hardy, dwarves are known skilled warriors and miners, break stone and metal. They stand well under 5 feet tall, so broad and compact that they weigh as much as a human. Yeah. Long memory. Dwarves can live to be more than 400 years. Oh, so now they not only did they take away their culture, but they also took 50 years from their lifespan. Oh, man. Dwarves. Dwarves, man. And so it's like these long memories. Dwarves are solid and enduring like the mountains they weather. Talk about their personality. Very Tolkien-like. You gotta understand D&D is very inspired by Tolkien. They will be hard and stubborn as stone. Founding their ancient strongholds in youth of the world, they don't abandon these traditions lightly. Very traditionalist. You've completely abandoned this in the new one. Dwarven kingdoms stretched well beneath the mountains where dwarves mine gems. They love the beauty and artistry of precious metals and fine jewelry. In some dwarves, this love festers into avarice. Whatever wealth. Okay, there's the greed. Chief unit of dwarf society is the clan. And dwarves highly value social standing, even dwarves who live far from their own kingdoms. Dwarves take up the adventuring life, might be mowed by desire for treasure. They're slow to trust. See, slow to trust, and it's a background. It's not wise to depend on the elves, not telling what an elf will do next when the hammer meets the orc's head. And they're apt to start singing as to pull out a sword. They're flightfully and frivolous. Talks about how they interact between the species, how dwarves might see other groups. Halfling, sure, they're pleasant folk, but show me a halfling hero. An empire, a triumphant army, even a treasure from the ages made by halfling hands. Nothing. How can you take them seriously? There's so much more here about dwarves. It's like, this is what it means to be a dwarf. You don't get any of that in here in the 2024 handbook. Again, did they run out of pages? This is like, okay, WotC, I know WotC did this over diversity, equity, and inclusion, and I know that can go on another rant itself, and I can go on that forever, and I won't here, but you did two things here. One, isn't it that group that also complains about cultural erasure? Isn't it them that talk about cultural erasure? How we've eliminated cultures from our histories. What do you think you're doing in this book? Sure, you made them specieses, you made them more interactive, but you've completely eliminated their culture. This isn't something that I'm like, no, this matters because you're making it more difficult for a new GM. And for players, how are players supposed to know dwarven society going through the handbook? How do they know when they make a dwarf, they're stepping into the role of this society? When they're making a dragonborn, they're stepping into this clan. I get it, they don't care about the lore, but you can't make it this hard for people. Homebrew, it's homebrew or nothing now. Setting guides are going to have to be like 500 pages because they're going to have to detail each of their histories, each race's history in that world and how they got there. You've made it significantly harder for future material. Also, again, the sub-races are gone. They're just dwarves. Also, why is his mouth open? Why is his mouth open? Elves. Created by the god Corellian, the first elves could change their forms at will, lost this ability when Corellian cursed them for plotting with the deity Lolth. Okay. Interesting. They couldn't eliminate the elven culture because the elves are too, I don't know. Elves are very difficult. Created by the god Corellian, the first elves could change their forms at will. When Lolth was cast into the abyss, most elves renounced her and earned Corellian's forgiveness. Taken from them was lost forever. No longer able to shapeshift at will, elves retreated to the Feywilds, where their sorrow was deepened by the plane's influence. Over time, curiosity led many of them to explore other planes of existence. Material plane. Elves were pointed ears, lack facial and body hair. They lived for around 750 years. They don't sleep, instead enter a trance, while immersing themselves in memories and meditations. An environment subtly transforms elves after they inhabit it for a millennium or more. And it grants them certain kinds of magic. Drow, high elves, and wood elves are examples of elves who have been transformed thus. Wait, whoa. You're tying this to the area instead of their past? Drow were Drow because they followed Lolth. They were cursed. And now it's just, plus this whole thing, like, inhabit it for a millennium or more, their whole culture shifts. Yeah, that happens. That's just how it works. I'm kind of okay with that. I just don't... these elves bother me. It really does bother me. Okay. So why is there a drow with a bunch of other elves there? I'm just like, drow, they don't get along. Talk about how the drow don't get along with other people. Talk about their history. Drow dwell in rainforest, Dragonlance setting, and in the Eberron setting, and where they come from. Like they're like, this is where they are in these settings. Okay, what about their societies? How is High Elf society different than Drow society? How are Wood Elf society different than... Like, you don't give us any information on what we're stepping into, which means the DM is going to have to do so much work here. The DM is going to have to do so much work here. It's like, what are you doing? Gnome. Gnomes are magical folk created by gods of invention, illusions, and life underground. The earliest gnomes were seldom seen by other folk due to gnomes' secretive nature and their propensity for living in forests and burrows. Weren't they Underdark original? Weren't they supposed to be Underdark? Forest. Wow, they completely changed the gnomes. Gnomes were like Underdark creatures. They're like essentially halflings of the Underdark. Okay, I'm not too interested in those. But again, no culture. No culture. They learned magic from gods. They don't talk about how gnome culture is based around invention and iteration. They don't talk about the whole thing. Why they're tinkerers. Why they confounded predators with traps. And labyrinthine tunnels. Okay, but why are they tinkerers? Why are they very much that kind of thing? Rock gnomes, mending prestidigitation. Again, no information on the culture. Towering over Morse folks, Goliaths are distant descendants of giants. Each Goliath bears the favors of the first giants. Okay, more Goliaths. Why aren't you talking about their clans, how they raid? Seriously, what information is this supposed to give? Halfling, cherished and guided by gods who value life, home, and hearth, halflings gravitate towards bucolic havens where family and community help shape their lives. That said, many halflings possess a brave and adventurous spirit that leads them on journeys of discovery, affording them a chance to explore a bigger world and make new friends along their way. Their size, similar to a human child, helps them pass through crowds, slip through tight spaces. Okay. Anyone who spent time around halflings, particularly halfling adventures, are likely witnessed the story of halfling luck. In addition, when halflings is in mortal danger, an unseen force seems to intervene on the halfling's behalf. Many halflings believe in the power of luck, and they attribute their unusual gift to one or more of their benevolent gods, including Yondala. Okay, the same gift might contribute to their robust lifespans, around 150 years. Okay, now we're talking about their communities. Halfling communities come in all varieties. For every sequestered shire tucked away in an unspoiled part of the city, there's a crime syndicate like the Boromir clan in the Eberron setting, or a territorial mob of halflings like those in the Dark Sun setting. Halflings who prefer to live underground are sometimes called Strongheart halflings or Stouts, nomad halflings, as well as those who live among humans and other tall folk are called Lightfoot or Tallfellows. Okay, we have a little bit about their societies. We finally have a little bit of culture, although I'm very pissed off. Many halflings possess a brave and adventurous spirit that leads them to go on adventure. Wait, aren't halflings supposed to be hobbits? Like, the only reason they're called halflings is because the Tolkien estate didn't allow them to use the hobbit name in the original D&D. Those halflings, like, they sound about right. For every tucked away shire, for every tucked away area. There's other groups, but it's like, okay, that makes sense. But you don't talk about how halflings being brave and being curious and filled with wanderlust is not a halfling trait. Again, if they were going for like uh, to make it more clear about what halflings were supposed to be, make them sound more like hobbits of the Shire, make them sound more like Tolkien's hobbits, you know. Sure, you have a handful that are filled with wanderlust and want to travel, but most halflings should be content with a solid beer, a nice wheel of cheese, and a nice burrow in the ground. Humans are probably the easiest one. I can't rant about the human culture because D&D is just human culture. There's so many different kinds. Like, you could pick any of them. It would be actually insulting for them to sit down and say the human culture is this. So I can't get mad at humans. Found throughout multiverse, humans are as varied as they are numerous. They endeavor to achieve as much as they can in the years they are given. Their ambition and resourcefulness are commended, respected, and feared on many worlds. Humans are as diverse in appearance as the people of Earth. They have many gods. Scholars dispute the origins of humanity, but one of the earliest known human gatherings is said to have occurred in Sigil, the Taurus-shaped city at the center of the multiverse and the place where the common language was born. From there, humans could have spread from every part of the multiverse, bringing the city of Doors' cosmopolitanism with them. Okay. Wow, we actually have an origin for humans. We have an origin for humans. In the reckoning of most words, humans are the youngest of the common races, late to arrive in the world, seen short-lived in comparison to everyone else. Perhaps it's because their shorter lives, they strive to achieve as much as they can. Okay. And look at how much more information we have on humans. Everyone's second best friend, just as makes humans mingle with members of other races. They're stout folk, stalwart friends, and true to the word. The greed for gold is their downfall, though, and how they kind of feel about the other groups. Elves, it's best not to wander into elven woods. They don't like intruders, and you'll likely be bewitched as peppered with arrows. Still, if an elf can get past the damned racial pride and actually treat you as like an equal, you can learn a lot from them. Halflings, it's hard to beat a meal in a halfling home. As long as you don't crack your head on the ceiling, good food and good stories in front of a nice warm fire. If halflings had a shred of ambition, they might really amount to something. Here we go. That's the thing. I'm liking this. Like 5e, they go into these and they're like, hey, this is what the race is. This is kind of how they feel about other groups. Like, how do dwarves feel about humans? How do halflings feel about humans? How do elves feel about humans? I kind of skipped over elves because elves are elves. Comforts of home. Home are the goals of most halfling lives, a place to settle in peace and quiet from marauding monsters and clashing armies, blazing fire and a generous meal, fine drink, and fine conversation. Though they live out their days in agricultural communities, others form nomadic bands that travel constantly, lured by the open road and wide horizon. They're small and practical, kind and curious. They blend into crowds. Pastoral again. Why are you not? They should not be one-page description. They should have put 2-3 pages to each race and went, hey, this is how we do it. Again, I'm refusing to call them species if you're just tuning in. I'm refusing to call them species because these are the humanoid races. It didn't need to be humanoid races. And it's like, okay, cool. Orcs. Oh, here we go, orcs. Me. Oh, here we go, orcs. Orcs is what ticked everybody off. We've only got half orcs in the other one, not actual orcs. So we're going to have to pull up, I don't know, we'll have to pull up the compendium and take a look at an actual orc. Monster manual, most likely. But we'll take a look at the half orc. All right, I'm going to start with the 5e orc and kind of how the monster manual describes them, because, again, they're monsters in 5e. They wanted to make them less monstrous. Orc in races. We'll open that in another tab. We'll also open the monsters, see if they're similar. Okay. The Orc race. Orcs trace their creation to the one-eyed god Grumosh, an unstoppable warrior and powerful leader. The divine qualities of Grumosh resonate within orcs, granting them a reflection of his toughness and tenacity that can't be matched. And the god equipped his children to be able to live above or below. On some worlds, orcs are among the first defenders of the natural orders. Another extraplanar threat. Grumosh's blessings have made orcs tireless guardians of mighty allies wherever they are found, even when they turn their devotion to other gods. This is an actually interesting thought about orcs. Now, as a monster, orcs worship Grumosh. Okay, more on their god, the mightiest of the orc deities and their creator. Their god, the orcs believed in ancient days the gods gathered to divide the world among their followers. When Grumosh claimed the mountains, he learned they had been taken by the dwarves. He laid claim to the forest, but they had been settled by the elves. Each place Grumosh wanted had already been claimed. The other gods laughed at Grumosh, but he responded with a furious bellow. Grasping his spear, he laid waste to the mountains, set the forests aflame, and carved great furrows in the fields. Such was the role of the orcs, he proclaimed, to take and destroy all that the other races would deny them. To this day, orcs wage an endless war on humans, elves, dwarves, and other folk. Orcs hold a particular hatred for elves. The elven god Corellian Letharian half-blinded Grumosh with a well-placed arrow to the god's eye. Since then, the orcs have taken particular joy in slaughtering elves. Orcs gather in tribes that exert their dominance and satisfy their bloodlust by plundering villages, devouring or driving off roaming herds, and slaying any humanoids that stand against them. After savaging a settlement, they pick clean the wealth and items usable in their own lands and set the villages ablaze. Their lust for slaughter demands that orcs dwell always within striking distance of new targets, such they seldom settle permanently, instead converting ruins, cavern complexes, and defeated villages into fortified camps and strongholds. Orcs build only for defense, making no innovation or improvement to their lairs beyond mounting the severed body parts of their victim on spiked stockade walls or pikes jutting with moats and trenches. Orcs are mostly patriarchal. Here we are. Orc Luthik, the orc goddess of fertility and wife of Grumosh, demands the orcs procreate often indiscriminately, so that orc hordes swell generation after generation. Orcs strive to reproduce, run stronger than any other, and they crossbreed. When orcs procreate with non-orc humanoids similar size and stature, such the resulting child is either an orc or a half-orc. When orc produces young with an ogre, it's a half-ogre of intimidating strength. Okay, now let's look at the half-orc. When united under the leadership of a mighty warlock, or having found to stand still after years of conflict, orc and human tribes sometimes form alliances, joining forces into larger hordes to tear civilized land. When those alliances are sealed by marriage, half-orcs are born. Some half-orcs rise to become proud chiefs in orc tribes, their human blood giving them an edge over the full-blooded rivals. Scarred and strong, half-orcs, grayish pigmentation, sloping foreheads, jutting jaws, prominent teeth, and towering builds make their orcish heritage plain to see. Orcs regard battle scars as tokens of pride. Again, it talks about the culture of half-orcs and orcs. What does 2024 have to say about orcs? Orcs trace their creation to Grumosh, a powerful god who roamed the wide open spaces of the material plane. That doesn't sound like Grumosh. That doesn't sound like Grumosh at all. Grumsh, I don't know if it's Grumsh or Grumosh. I'm calling him Grumosh. Equipped his children with gifts to let them wander the plains, vast caverns, and churning seas, and to face the monsters that lurk there. Even when they turn their devotion to other deities, orcs retain their gods' gifts, endurance, determination, and ability to see in the darkness. They are on average tall and broad. They have gray skin, ears sharply pointed and prominent. Orc youths on some worlds are told about their ancestors' great travels and travails. Inspired by those tales, many orcs wonder when Grumash will call them to match the heroic deeds of old, if they will prove worthy of his favor. Other orcs are happy to leave the old tales of the past and find their own. Also, why are they Mexican? Feels insulting. I don't know why. Like, my family grew up, like, my grandfather grew up on a reservation with a Spaniard. So my great-grandmother was a Spaniard, great-grandfather was an Indian. Native American Indian, not Indian. So very much that kind of Latin American feel, but grew up on a reservation. So I don't know why. This just feels insulting. Like, are they trying to be Mexican or are they trying to be Native American? Because they're kind of blending the two. And I get it. I know the culture is the same, but Mexican culture and Latin culture is very much influenced by the Spanish settlers. What are they going for? This is the most insulting one. Let's read Grumash again. Let's read Grumash. I like Grumash. Orcs worship Grumash, the mightiest of the orc deities and their creator. They believe in ancient days. They divided the world amongst their followers. When Grumash claimed the mountains, he learned they were taken by the dwarves. He claimed the forests, settled by the elves. Each place he wanted was already claimed. They laughed, and he responded with a furious bellow. Grasping his mighty spear, he laid waste to the mountain. This was a strong group. What did you do to them, Watsy? This was a strong war group. Fight enemies. Go. Build your strongholds. Lay waste to your enemies. Set the forests aflame. Carve the furrows in the fields. This is the role of the orcs, to destroy what everyone would deny them. Where are my orcs? Where are my orcs? What do you call this? You call these orcs? You call these orcs? What do you mean these are orcs? What do you mean these are orcs? These are not orcs. Oh, also, I don't know. I've got my D&D stuff. I have the D&D stuff up the whole time. My D&D overlay. What do you mean orc? These are my orcs now. They're just nomads that make that have hawks? Boring. Where are my raiders? Where are my... We will lay waste to the fields. We will take what is denied us. Lame. Lame. And of course the half races are gone because, you know, interbreeding. God forbid WotC embrace multiculturalism. God forbid WotC embrace multiculturalism. They would much rather keep the races segregated to each other. You know, you're not allowed to go between your races. No. The half races do not exist anymore. They're out there clutching their pearls. Okay, let's read Tieflings from the 5th edition, then get into those. To be greeted with stares and whispers, to suffer violence and insult on the streets, to see mistrust and fear in every eye. This is the lot of the Tiefling. And to twist the knife, Tieflings know that it is because of a pact struck generations ago, infused with the essence of Asmodeus, overlord of the 9 hells, into their bloodline. Their appearance and their nature are not their fault, but the result of an ancient sin, for which they and their children and their children's children will be held accountable. Tieflings are derived from human bloodlines in the broadest possible sense. They still look human, however. Their infernal... They still look human, however. Their infernal heritage has left a clear imprint on their appearance. Tieflings have large horns. Okay, this talks about them, self-reliant, and suspicious. Tieflings subsist in small minorities found in mostly human cities, often in the roughest quarters of those places where they grow up to be swindlers, thieves, or crime lords. Okay, this is a result of being the mistrust. You know, they're seen as very demonic. Lacking a homeland, tieflings know that they have to make their own way in the world and that they will be strong to survive. They're not quick to trust anyone who claims to be a friend, but when a tiefling's companions demonstrate that they trust him or her, the tiefling learns to extend the same trust to them. And once a tiefling gives someone loyalty, the tiefling is a firm friend or ally for life. They mutual trust. Again, this is a group that has no culture. This and are deemed suspicious because they look like demons and devils. So of course they'd be treated with suspicion. Tieflings are either born in the lower planes or have fiendish ancestors. Oh, so they are just demons now. Oh, Wasi, what have you done? What do you mean they're just demons now? The whole point of the tiefling was that they're treated with mistrust because they look like demons, but they're not. It's the misunderstanding. It's the fact that they're treated as if they're evil when they're not. It's something that... It's a way... Oh, why? Why? What do you mean tieflings are just demons now? Tieflings are either born in the lower planes or have fiendish ancestors who originated there. It's linked by blood to a devil, a demon, or some other fiend. They're just half demons? Derived from human bloodlines. In the broadest, they still look human. However, their infernal heritage has left an imprint on their appearance. Because of a pact struck generations ago. This is supposed to be like... Tieflings were sins of the father kind of things. The generations are paying for a pact long ago. Sins of the father. Now they're just demons? Now they're just devils? Oh, God forbid your parents... God forbid your parents make a decision that's terrible in their past. Because as WotC rewrites you, you'll just be a demon. Three different types of demons. Tieflings. They're just demons. They're just demons. Sorry, I shouldn't just say demons. They could be devils. They're just devils. They're just demons. Like, the whole point was there were humans paying for the sins of their father. Now they're legitimately just demons? I thought the orcs would make me mad. Holy crap, the tiefling. What the hell were you thinking, WotC? Entropy of the abyss, the chaos of pandemonium, or the despair of the Keresi called to tieflings who have abyssal legacy. Horns, fur, tusks, and peculiar sense are common in physical features. Okay. Chthonic. Tieflings who have chthonic legacy feel not only the tug of Keresi, but also the greed of Gehenna. Now the hell's call to them. Holy crap, now the hell's call to them. Nope, they should not be humanoids. They are fiends. They are absolutely just fiends. I need to take a break. What the hell were you thinking, Watsy? Like, you didn't just make orcs, like, decent good guys. You made tieflings legitimately evil. They're half demons. And banned? Holy crap. I know they don't care about lore, but holy crap. They are just half demons now. I need to take a break. Let's take 5, guys. What, precious? I took a second to cool off, everybody. I took a second to cool off. Okay, feats. Now we're getting into the nitty-gritty of rules. This next bit is just going to be the nitty-gritty of the rules, which is fine. Nitty-gritty of the rules, let's go for it. Epic boons, you've got feats, types of feats, okay? They're categorizing feats. That's not bad. I'm kind of all right with them categorizing feats like this. Origin feats. Category, prereq, benefit, repeatable. Okay. Some are repeatable? Oh, dang. I have to take a look at one of those repeatable feats. Alert gives you an initiative swap. Really? Tool proficiency. Crafter. Discount. Fast crafting. Okay, yeah, these are all just feats. I'm trying to see if there's any bad feat, like any... I'm just scanning through. I need to know if there's... actually, I can look it up. See if there's any broken feats. Whoa, there's already some errata? You can't errata these. The books have gone out. The books have gone out. Let's see how bad the feats are. Don't care about origin feats. Tell me about the broken ones. There's a lot of feats. There are a lot of feats. Holy crap. There are a lot of feats. But nothing talking about how they're broken. Any bag, maybe Bag of Holding has something? Tough is now a forced choice. Say no. Hit points. Beefy Barbarian with 16 sees 20% boost to hit points every time they level. Never mind a wizard with 14 con who sees a massive 33%. Okay. Just origin feats. Character optimization meta. Here we are. Healing. Wow, this is just a lot. This is just all like. Let's hit you with a. Let's hit you with a. Holy crap! Assorted broken things. Right. And sold. And spelled hold a single spell, maximum of 6 charges. Okay, speed debuff, suggestion. Sorry, this is like somebody going through the best boon of fate. Okay, best feat, undecided. Oof. Okay, I guess. Okay, musician is by far the best one. Heroic inspiration for 2d6, 2 to 6 creatures in the party. Ability to reroll important saves. Yeah. Magic Initiate. I saw a big contender here. Chalet and True Strike. Okay. Yep. So there's nothing inherently broken with the feats, it looks like. It's just very much the... there's a lot of feats, man. Spell builds. Builds are weird, man, now. Although I guess musician is really good. See music. I don't see musician in here. It's an origin feat, right? Yeah, the feats apparently aren't like super bad. Boon of Recoveries being feats are kind of weird. Those are kind of weird. The feats are just kind of weird. I can't see anything inherently broken in the feats. Chat, let me know. Like, is there something in the feats I'm not seeing? How much more we got? We got a lot more to go. Good news is we're not going to go through all the spells. We'll go through some of the spells. Chat, if you want me to like take a look at which spells might be broken, let me know. I know invisibility has issues. I know summon woodland being has issues. Okay, equipment. Right, this is where we get the weapon properties, the weapon masteries. I'm not against the weapon masteries, actually. I like the weapon mastery idea. Nick. Although I do have issues with like Nick. Like what items have Nick? I swear if a rapier has Nick. Just finesse. Doesn't talk about weapon mastery. Doesn't talk about weapon mastery, which is good. I'm trying to see. Oh, no, it does. Let me see. Rapier. Vex. Rapier has Vex. Hit a creature with deal damage to the creature. You have advantage on your next attack roll against the creature. Okay. Hitting multiple times. Okay. I kind of, again, I'm not against weapon masteries. These weapon. Jake. Welcome back. But Jake. What has Nick? A light hammer has Nick. Why does a light hammer have Nick? How do you nick somebody with a hammer? How do you nick somebody with a hammer? Especially a one-handed hammer. I don't understand. What else has Nick? A dagger? I get daggers having Nick. But a hammer? A sickle has Nick. Battle Axe says topple. I feel like you should have cleave. A scimitar has Nick. Okay, I can understand. But a hammer having Nick. How do you nick somebody with a hammer? Oh, I nicked him with a hammer, which means I took like his chin off. Doesn't make any sense. It would be a funny build, though. That would be a funny build, though. You're just playing around nicking people with a hammer. And wow, a lot more art on the armors. And, of course, guns. I guess guns are now just a thing. Like, I know they're a thing, but it kind of talked about guns separately. Like, hey, guns don't fit in every setting. But I guess guns are just a thing now. Well, and without culture, we can't determine where the guns came from. You would think it'd be like a mix between gnomes and dwarves. Dwarven craftsmanship on the metal with the tinkering of the gnomes. But we don't know because they completely eliminated any sort of racial stuff and cultural stuff from the races. So we'll never know. Unless it's in the DMG, which if it's in the DMG, that's stupid because that's information players will want, not just DMs. I swear if it's in the DMG, somebody is getting punched. Armor. No changes to armor. Half plate. Yeah, no changes to armor. Nothing. Tools. Tool proficiencies. Adventuring gear. At least the costs are in there, although I don't think the costs line up. Alchemist, fire, acid. And there's actually costs for these in here, so you're not kind of guessing. But again, these... It doesn't always fit. Case of crossbow bolts, case map, chain, backpack, ball bearings, and what they do, what they all do. Hunting trap, lock, magnifying glass, manacles, map. A map is only a gold piece? There's no way! There's no way. Okay, parchment. Okay, let's take a parchment. Piece of parchment, and is there ink? Do we know where ink is? Ink. Okay, assuming they can write 500 pages, write. Not draw. Draw like a map, a decent map. I don't think a map is only a gold piece. What the hell? I charge 50 to my players because maps are very valuable and they take a lot of work. The person has to be at least proficient in cartographer's tools. Okay, have cartographer's tools. Where are the tools? 15 gold pieces. $15 gold pieces plus 10, so 25 gold pieces. So 25.5 gold pieces is the total cost somebody needs to become a cartographer, assuming they get proficiency. And they're selling it for a gold piece? That can't be right. That cannot be right. Unless it's a very small map. That can't be right. It's basic economy. Not to mention the cost of going out there to draw the map, unless you're just copying a map. But then again, you had to pay a guide. There's no way a map would cost a gold piece. There's no way. Mounts and vehicles. Lifestyle expenses. Each week or month, DM's choice, choose a lifestyle below. Lifestyles have no inherent consequence, but the DM might make them account when determining risks or how people perceive your character. Okay. So a modest would be a gold piece a day. Hirelings, unskilled, would get 2 silver pieces a day. Untrained hirelings, 2 silver pieces a day, which is poor. So you messenger 2 copper pieces. Yeah, skilled hirelings, 2 gold pieces per day. That'd either be comfortable or be able to live modestly. Okay, okay. I wish they had more on the currency. Brewing potions of healing. I remember I broke one of the old, campaign by playing a druid, and during my downtime all I did was craft potions of healing, and it was supposed to be a low magic, very gritty setting, and suddenly I'm like, yeah, we're level 2 and I've got 5 potions of healing for everybody. Just pay me the full cost that you'd pay them, and so that I can make more. So other than like pit fighting to make gold, I would make potions and would have potions of healing. Spells, any changes to spells. Like I could go and talk, but honestly, I'm just kind of done. There's nothing here. Like from here on out, it's a reference book. Sure, there's broken spells in here. Conjure woodland beings. That we're going to look at. No, conjure minor elementals. Sorry. You conjure spirits from the elemental plane that flit around you. Duration until the spell ends. Any attack you make deals 2 extra 2d8 when you hit a creature in the emanation. The damage is acid, cold, fire, or lightning. Your choice when you make the attack. In addition, the ground in the emanation is difficult terrain. What emanation? 15-foot emanation around you. Hit a creature in the end. So if you're attacking something, you get additional 2d8. That's very strong for a level 4. Plus, it goes up by 2d8 by every spell slot above. Most of them increased by 1. That's why that's so strong. You can burn a 5th level spell as a ranger or as a wizard, or a spell scroll as somebody else, and suddenly be hitting for 4d8 additional damage plus Nick. And if you're attacking 3 times, holy shit! That's some damage. Also, they didn't beat did they fix create water? People talk about the create water stuff, and I joke about that. Like, oh, create water is like, they talk about people summoning it in people's stuff, but control water, yes. Create. Be after this. Control, counterspell, create undead, creation. Create water. Create or destroy water. Create water. Create gallons of clear area within range in an open container. Okay, just open container, and that's debatable with the DM whether it's a person is an open container. And then invisibility has an issue as well. Any other broken spells that I should know about, chat? Broken spells. I can't believe they're already errating stuff. Holy crap. Holy crap. Sorry, I'm seeing if there's any other broken spells. Summon insects or summon giant insect. People talk about summon giant insect. Summon beast. Summon celestial. Summon construct. Summon dragon. Summon elemental. Summon fae. No, summon insect. I don't see it in there. So yeah, I mean, I don't see any other spells that are like a huge problem. I haven't heard about other spells. Okay. The multiverse, material planes, transit. Okay, a little bit on the multiverse. I feel like there needs to be more than that. Dear Lord, there needs to be more than that. There needs to be more than that. Creatures, different creatures and stat blocks, little monsters. Ooh, Sphinx of Wonder. Interesting. Rules glossary. Coin. Is there any coin? Currency? Currency. I want to see currency. I want to see coin. Coin or currency. Money. Or maybe it's under money. Indifferent isn't. Oh, right. They added attitudes, which is kind of dumb. Money. Nothing on money. Interesting. They didn't improve their economy at all. And that's the end of the book. My thoughts. My ending thoughts. I'm trying to think. It's unnecessary. Look, the 2024 handbook is unnecessary. I would understand it if it was a complete overhaul of the rules. We're going into 6th edition. It's not. It's an errata written by the worst people to write an errata because they don't take into account the balance of the game. And the balance was already atrocious in 5e. They just made it worse. I said it midway through one of my readings of this that I've been doing over the last few weeks, that this feels like a rule book written by the storytellers, not the rules lawyers. The rule books should have been written by the rules lawyers. The storytellers, I feel like they needed 2 groups to write this book. They needed a group to write the rules, and they needed a group to write the story and go through the specieses. And it's like, okay, you can do that. WotC has so much money. They have the mega corporation Hasbro behind them. There's no reason they couldn't do that. Instead, there's broken stuff kind of everywhere. Conjure elementals, invisibility, the Nick action, which lets you just make an extra free attack with the weapon, which is a huge issue. The barbarian the Path of the World Tree barbarian that can now swing at 25 feet out as a bugbear. There's a number of issues here that I'm like, it's not a good errata. Not to mention, this is supposed to be all the players need. This doesn't give you enough information on how the races behave. They call them species for some dumb reason, and they also eliminate half races. So in their inclusion, in their push for diversity, equity, and inclusion, they did 2 detrimental things. They erased the culture of every race. It's not in there anymore. And that may be in the DMG, but it shouldn't have been there. Because players should not be expected to turn to the DMG for information on how the societies of these races are structured. They shouldn't have. They shouldn't have to. They shouldn't have to buy another book for that. The player's handbook should be all a player needs, and it doesn't. Because if I want to play in High Elf, I don't know how High Elf society is supposed to operate. I can make inferences. I can talk with the DM, but I don't have the information. This book does not give me the information. Additionally, I didn't see gods in there. I didn't see this book talk about religions. what about the pantheons? What about how the planes were made? There were one page on the planes and there was no information on it. They've made some detrimental changes, such as now tieflings are just devils and demons. Or half demons. They're not humans whose family had been cursed by an ancient pact. They're now evil, pure evil. And sure, there's the argument like, hey, some of them are the sons and daughters of the devils, but it's like, yeah, no, but they're still fiends. They still have not just an infernal legacy behind them, but an infernal heritage. They changed that, which really hurts that people. I can't believe they did that. That is ridiculous that they did that to the tieflings. Orcs, they shifted. I'm surprised more people were not mad about the tieflings. I heard a lot of people around were mad about the orcs. They should have been more angry about the tieflings. They should have been way more angry about the tieflings. Because the tieflings got completely shafted. They didn't deserve this. They didn't deserve what happened to them. The tieflings didn't deserve to have their entire history taken away and just be, oh yeah, no, you're now devils now. You're now demons. You're just demons and devils. Aasimar get to keep it. They're just celestial. They made some changes to the Aasimar that I'm like, I don't agree with that. The elves now, an elven Aasimar now does not live 700 years. He only lives about 160, which means if the elven culture is elven culture, he dies very young. Class changes. I don't like class changes. They completely destroyed the druid. They didn't help the ranger enough. The ranger needed it. You know, there's a general rule that you need to make. Like, they needed to set a baseline for strength, and they didn't. Classes are still some are wildly stronger than others still. Ranger is still got the short end of the stick. The backgrounds don't matter. Like, backgrounds matter a lot. I don't think they did it effectively. They tied all your stat bonuses to backgrounds, which means the species are just interchangeable now. You take them for that ability, not for and their culture, not for any sort of bonus. I think one change that they could have made that they didn't to it is if they tied the +1 to the species and the +2 to the I said species. That's because it's how it's referred to in the book. The race. I'm going to call them races because they're races. They're the humanoid races. The species, the races, +1 tied to the races, +2 tied to the background. That way, there's actually a reason to take one background over another. And additionally, some classes might be predetermined to be more interested in some backgrounds. There's a reason for that. I think it was a bad idea. I think this book was poorly thought out, and I don't think it's being received that great. I don't think it's being received that great. I don't think it's being received that great. It's getting erratas. Bunch of differences. Check news. Let's check the news. A bunch of stuff about the TV show. New rule book saying goodbye to cute tradition. Okay. Sneak peek. I don't need to know about that. They didn't release it. They haven't released their monster manual yet, which ticks me off. You should have released it with everything. Pre-orders. They're now aberrations. Interesting. Sales. I should be looking at sales. Because we should have sales by now. Okay. Why is Forbes talking about it? Why is everything about the 2024? What's the numbers? $3,000. That's not a lot of release copies. That's barely anything. All-time records, sales records becoming fast. Fastest doesn't mean the greatest. Ooh, here we are. Hasbro Q3 report decline in D&D revenue despite the 2024 launch. It's not being received very well. Their changes, they've burned a lot of their goodwill. Brand to be struggling, make significant to its bottom line. Strong sales promoted the second print run. Reports suggest the launch may have underperformed as DD failed from company leadership. Dungeon Master's Guide shaping to be hit. However, Q3 earnings report, Chris Cox doing better. Focus on Magic the Gathering. Oof. 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 5% revenue decrease. Eek. Oh. Sales did not go well for this. That's just how many people played, not the 2024 edition. Scandal on scandal. It's not gone over smoothly. Inflates sales numbers. Oh! From TG and Tabletop News, WotC inflates from September, and we're way late on this. So WotC inflates sales numbers for players. For players' handbook, physical sales might be low. Oof. Press release, fastest selling product ever. Actual sales number appear. Update numbers from Comic Book Sandwich are known to be reliable. Okay. In their press claim, they had printed 3 times more copies of the 2020 compared to the 2014 edition, likely to create impression that the record-breaking sales were from physical books. It's a tactic to mislead the public, especially considering the numbers from the book that they compare to. Press release was listed with its physical. However, a tactic to mislead them, especially considering the numbers for the books that they compared it to. In the press release, Tasha's Cauldron of Everything was listed with its physical book sales numbers. The data revealed that the Player's Handbook sold only 3,773 copies. For example, in its first week, the Player's Handbook sold 22,000 copies, and Tasha's Cauldron of Everything sold a staggering 133,000 copies in its launch week. Whoo! Handbook sold 5 during the launch week of the 2020, signaling that far from everyone has already come to move on to. Everyone is far from signaling that. Far from everyone is ready to move on to the new edition. Digital sales have spiked it, but digital sales, most people want the physical books. Increasing prioritize digital products for the profitability and ease of distribution. Why is WotC trying to create an impression that physical sales are thriving when they stated they're focusing on digital? Oh, so they combined their physical and digital sales while only comparing it to physical sales? That's dirty. That's dirty. And not to mention they try to force everybody. That's a dirty tactic. I don't think this is going over very well for WotC. 2024 has been a mess, and no one trusts them. No one wants to move on, and we've seen the stuff that's in it, and we're like, this does not serve very well. Is this good for new players? I mean, I guess, but your older players don't want this. Your core players don't want this. Your 5e players don't want to move on. We're like, no. Either make us... WotC, shit or get off the pot. Don't just make a 5.5. I want 6th edition. Especially when 5.5 is so bad. Now, we'll check the monster manual when it comes out, but it's not looking good right now. I mean, that's everything I'm going to be covering today. I've looked at the various things out here and the different kind of things, reception to this. The player's handbook did not go over well. The player's handbook did not go over well. Physical sales are down. And I've seen this said by a couple people in chat before. You go to your libraries and your 5e books are hard to get. They're always being checked out. But the 2024 editions, they're sitting there. Nobody wants them. All right. I think that's enough rants from me. If you enjoyed this, if you watched all the way through and you're on somewhere other than YouTube, go ahead and give me that follow. If you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe. Of course, like, comment, tell me what I'm wrong about. Tell me if this is way worse than I think it is. Tell me if it's way better than I think it is. Let me know, and we will see you guys next time. Also, keep in mind this channel does focus on survival games as well as D&D. So, follow us as we play some Ark on Tuesday. Wait, no, not Tuesday. Sorry. Ark is not Tuesday. We'll be moving Ark because Tuesday, Avowed comes out. So it's a special event. We'll be playing some Avowed. Maybe some Ark too. I might do Ark then Avowed. But we'll see you later.